Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is that you happen to be listening to this. Welcome back for another episode of Kanan's Cadence, the show where I talk about my interests, hobbies, and experiences at my own pace with my own rhythm. It's been pretty crazy, even just using that that tag. I want to say for however many episodes I've been using it at this point. Still feels weird to say, and I almost always forget the order of those words and those things that I actually throw in there. But got it today, so that's good. Anyway, so hope everyone's been doing well over the last week or so since the last episode went up. It's been another, as I said a few episodes ago, like there were some stretches after I got back from my trip where I wasn't really able to record on my usual Thursday like I typically would. And that was the same thing for this week. I thought that I was going to be back on track by like after my last episode, but then week got busy again and I had to push it back. So again, as of today's recording, today is Sunday, February 8th, and the episode's supposed to go up tomorrow. I usually try to give myself a couple of days so that I don't have to record, edit, and upload all in the same stretch, but here we are again. So on that note, actually, and I've only mentioned this to one person at the time of this recording so far, and I don't know who, like, how many people are actually listening just in general, but I have to cut to the chase a little bit with this episode. I've made the decision right now. I'm gonna have to put recording this show and uploading this show on pause, indefinitely. Like I intend on picking it up again at some point down the line, but I have my reasons that I'm gonna go into throughout the course of this episode. Is the thing, but yeah, like it's a weird thing to even try and rack my brain around because even though like this is episode 20, like I've done this 20 times, and on one hand I'm just like 20 is not super high, but at the same time I'm just like, man, that is the last 20 Mondays I've had an episode go up. I haven't missed one. I haven't missed a single week where I haven't recorded. Like the actual day sometimes rotates around, but I haven't missed any date or week for recording or uploading. And just the fact that I've been able to do that 20 times is really crazy for me to even think about. And it's been a lot of fun, and I've gotten very bizarre types of feedback when it comes to this show from people that I haven't even heard from in years sometimes. Like, if it's my closest friends and they happen to be tuning in, even that can feel kind of strange sometimes. I'm like, I have people who are like actively looking for me to upload these every single week, and I have, and I've gotten feedback from a bunch of people a bunch of different times. I've gotten assistance from friends at different points and all that type of stuff, and recommendations on things that I can talk about and like what I can do to even just elevate the whole thing. And I would never even like, because again, I think I started this in September and now it's February again. It's only a few months, about 5 months, but like even still, I'm like, that's a lot of work that I put into something that I even just 6 months ago had zero intention of actually doing in this way, is the thing. But so it's been a great deal of fun. Obviously, I'm not done with it quite yet as far as like this episode goes because I'm only 3 minutes in, but I'm talking about this as though like I'm wrapping up already. So let's save all that stuff for the end. So this show, just in general, so just a background again, because it's been a while since I've actually spoken about like where this idea even came from for me. I want to say back in maybe July or August or so, 2025. So just a handful of months back, I was just fiddling around with the idea of just doing like some audio journaling and all that type of stuff. Like nothing too crazy, but I was like, what would it be like to just set up? It wasn't even a microphone at the time. It was literally just I hit record on my phone's sound recorder. I spoke into just the basic. Oh no! Wow! Like initially, I was literally just talking into my iPad. Is the thing. Like I just hit sound recorder. Didn't even have like headphones or anything like that. I just sat at my desk with my iPad recording in front of me, just talking about whatever I felt like. Some of the prototype episodes, quote unquote, that I could talk about. I guess they ended up becoming like actual topics that I have gone into in one of these last 20 episodes. Is the thing. So like I spoke about like video games. I spoke about like my photography stuff, my music stuff, like just a couple of those like earliest episodes that I did were some prototypes or like the final versions of some of those prototype episodes that I had recorded back in one of those months, few months back is the thing. And I still have the recordings on those, and honestly, it might be fun at some point for me to go back and see what those sound like or how I was actually going about it at that particular point in time before I decided that I actually wanted to make something of it. I do remember that in those episodes, I said a number of separate times, I'm just like, hey, I wonder if this is actually going to be reaching the public in some way. So if you happen to be listening to this episode, that's crazy because I never thought that I would be uploading it or something to the effect of that. And I'm gonna hold on to those recordings and just see what I can maybe make of them down the line. But for right now, yeah. So like that's where the idea kind of started to develop. I just wanted to because I really enjoy just sitting down and like talking with people. And a lot of the time, I will literally just like sit down and like talk to no one, like not having like a conversation with myself. I'm not going to be answering the things that I pitch or like say or whatever. But my thoughts, a lot of the time, I just like letting my thoughts flow out, and like doing it this way has really been it's been like therapeutic for me because it's been an excuse for me weekly to just sit down and get my thoughts out, but then also put those thoughts out to an audience in some sort of way, like on YouTube, on Spotify. Like it's really been like an interesting experience because I've never done something like this before. And it's been a lot of fun. Exactly why I say indefinitely, but I intend on bringing it back. So, how about I start going into that sort of like the actual, like, okay, well, why now? Why am I deciding right this point in time to pause the show and focus up on some other things that I'm doing? That right there, that last bit that I just said, that's exactly what it is. That I really am intending on focusing my attention right now, like kind of wholly on my aims that I have, like for short term goals, like shorter term goals. I've spoken a little bit about those goals in another episode. I can't remember which one it was, but I have spoken about like a couple of goals that I have for myself. And right now, like my main focus is trying to be on saving up money and being able to like actually go and start doing the things that I really want to do, like going to grad school, living in a different city, a different state at that. And I have a lot of plans for that sort of thing once I've already gotten to accomplish it. But that's the thing. I need to be able to accomplish the goal first in order to get those plans rolling. Like get them off the ground, get them to stop being just ideas and start being things that I actually am able to act upon is a thing. So that's I would say reason number one why I want to pause this right now, just to give an idea of my setup that I have when recording this show, because this does play into it. And I've maybe said this before, but my setup, quote unquote, I'm literally just in my bedroom, my childhood bedroom that I've been in for over 20 years at this point, sitting at my desk, and I have my microphone, just a basic, it's a Zeal Sound boom arm mic from that I got from Walmart on sale for like maybe like $70 or something like that. I have it clipped to my desk, and the only way that I could do it, because the clamp only opens so far. Um, I have one of the drawers on my desk perpetually open just so that the clamp can actually slide through and have enough of a stable grip so that the arm doesn't fall, and also so that it can connect just in general because it's not too wide. And I'm literally just recording into Audacity. Nothing wrong with Audacity, but again, just bedroom basic setup, nothing crazy. And that's one of my problems with the way that I've been doing this for as long as I've been doing it, is that I don't like recording in my bedroom because I still feel like a kid a lot of the time when I'm in this room. And I feel like I have no room to grow, like to let the show grow at that when I'm still doing it here and with this type of like really like makeshift setup that I've got. So one of the main reasons that I want to move at this point and like have more space and like a better setup and all that type of stuff is so that I can actually feel more at home, ironically, when recording the episodes that I do for this show. If I'm just going and doing it the way that I am right now, then there is no potential for development. I have spoken to a couple of friends here and there, and it's honestly something that I would love to do because this is for me a conversation. I'd love to be able to have friends in on this sort of thing with me here and there, like if they wanted to, whether they were in person with me or if we were able to record through like Discord or Zoom or something like that, whatever it is. I really do want to have friends in on this sort of thing with me at some point so that I can make the episodes more dynamic with like different people and different like conversations, a different way of seeing me at that too. Because again, my banter with some of my closest friends, I feel would be able to carry us through like I want to say like episodes that are double the length of what I've been putting up, which is like 20 to 30 minutes. I could easily go like an hour at the very least with certain friends of mine. And I would love to be able to do that sort of thing, but I can't do that here. I have nowhere else in my house that I can go to actually record anything and have it like be a proper setup for one thing, and then have there be no interruptions, no distractions, anything like that. I've tried, I've actually, and I've this I haven't said on the show before. Like I years ago, probably pushing like about like 9, almost 10 years ago, I dabbled with the idea of doing like let's playing on YouTube at some point. That was the last time that I actually like just put myself, like my voice and like my commentary and stuff like that out there in the public eye in some way. Like that YouTube channel that I had is long since gone. Those videos long since gone is a thing. And I would be really, really bizarrely shocked if they somehow got archived on the internet. Like they really were not anything special and were not popular. But it was just like me playing video games and like talking over them and stuff like that. The reason that I stopped doing that when I did was a similar reason to this whole thing right here is that there were enough interruptions, enough noise coming from the hallway outside my bedroom, and like enough like people like knocking on the door and like getting in the way of like my recording time. Of course, I love my family at that, but if I'm going to do something like this, I really need to have a space where I can just focus on nothing but the thing that I'm putting out there. Every single episode of this show that I've recorded and uploaded, I do in the hopes that no one happens to come and knock on my door or call me or need me in the stretch that I'm recording for. That's part of why I try to keep these on the shorter side. Also, just so that people don't get bored. Like, I don't need to ramble for like 45 to 50 minutes or longer than that. Just me, myself, and I is the thing. But I don't want things to be getting interrupted for me to have to then scramble to like pause the audio or edit out certain clips of like people coming into the room. That's only happened one time. Ironically, I think it was maybe my last episode that I did. I had just like an interruption at the door, and I did have to crop that out of the episode, the audio. But yeah, so it's that sort of thing. I'm trying to get away from that sort of thing and get into a space where I won't have to really worry about that. So that's that's reason number one. The other reasons kind of play off of the same sort of things, which I have other things that I really want to like focus like all my attention towards at the moment, so that I can really set up for a future that I'm really trying to like cultivate for myself. So all the times that I've spoken about photography and like the pictures that I've taken and like how much I love it, I haven't gotten to do a whole lot with improving my photography knowledge and skills over the last few weeks. Honestly, since I was in Disney World last month, which it's crazy because that is almost a full month ago since that trip had started at this point. But that was the last time that I was able to really get out and like use my camera. And it wasn't since before that trip that I really just sat down and did any of those Udemy courses that I mentioned, and just really let my knowledge start to develop and got to like go out and like practice what I'm learning and all that type of stuff. And I want to do more of that. It doesn't really conflict a whole lot with the show just in general, because this only takes me, I want to say, just north of an hour every week, maybe at most, to record this stuff, export the audio, edit some spots, like just do whatever I got to do to get these episodes up and running. It doesn't take a whole lot, but honestly, 1 hour or a little more than an hour of worth of time, like every week when I'm trying to do so many things all at once, that hour is really critical. And this is something that is fun for me, and like I said, it's kind of therapeutic for me to record. But it is literally just something that I'm doing for fun, and I have a bunch of other things that I also do for fun. I want to do more with this when I'm able to, and like make something like actually keep the name and keep the idea of the show like as similar to it is right now as I can when I do eventually bring it back. But I just want it to be able to be something more than I'm able to have it be at this very moment in time. And by pausing this for a hiatus and shifting gears so that I can focus on some other things that I'll be able to then really, really go into detail about once I do come back with this. Again, for me, that's enticing at that too. Like having even just like an additional hour's worth of time where I don't have to worry about recording and uploading and stuff like that. Like that'll give me time to like just do other things that I've been meaning to do, or like other things that I've been kind of like losing the ability to do over the last few months. Just as I keep getting busier, like that is, I want to say, like reason number three is I'm just so goddamn busy all the time. Is the thing. Like I have my job that I work full time, and like I've just been picking up like more and more responsibilities at this job as the weeks go on, and that's been requiring a lot of my attention. Sometimes even attention outside of my place of work, just to make sure that I know where I'm going to, like what I'm going to do the next time that I'm in, and make sure that I have the time for it when I'm there. But then beyond that, like I have like my community band that I play in, and that I intend on continuing with. But then like I also have other things that I'm trying to develop with like my music as a soloist, and just jam sessions that I'm trying to go to with people, and more performance opportunities that I'm looking for. Just so many things. And then it comes to the point where like when I have a day off, like I happen to today, um, then I have to utilize that day off, or I feel the need to utilize that day off to try and get myself caught up on some of the other things that I've been slacking with. So I want to be able to use that time rather than thinking of what my next topic is going to be, and put it towards like, okay, well, what can I do with photography, or like, what instrument should I practice today, or like, what can I do to like straighten up around the house, or like, what can I do to like get my financial goals more sorted out and all that type of stuff. That's how I spend most of my days off. Sometimes I do just want to be able to take a day off and do absolutely nothing. And Thursdays are one of my usual days off, is the thing. That's part of why the last couple of Thursdays haven't actually recorded, was because I've been so busy throughout the weeks leading up to a Thursday that by the time that it's come about, I haven't wanted to sit down at the mic and record, because I just want to laze about, do nothing, or like go and play music, something like that. Because a lot of the time when Thursday rolls around, a recording day for me, I don't have a topic. Like I'm just like kind of swinging for the fences, seeing what I might be able to talk about for that particular episode, so that I can have an episode to go up. And that for me kind of brings me to the fourth and probably final like main point as to why I need to pause this right now, is that in a sense, this recording this show, even though I've enjoyed it, it has started to feel a bit like work. Is the thing. That's the ironic thing, right? Like it's something that I started just because I felt like it, but given the circumstances and like the context surrounding it and whatever, like it's almost started to feel like something that I need to do, and that's almost starting to overtake the idea of it being something that I do because I feel like it, because I want to do it. And anytime that that ends up becoming the case, I know that it's time for me to step back at the very least for a bit. I even did that with music for a while. So I don't remember if I ever said this in an episode, but I graduated from SUNY Potsdam, the Crane School of Music. End of 2020 was when I technically graduated. Middle of 2021 was when I actually got my diploma, so I knew that I was like properly done at that point. Um, but given the fact that I graduated with a performance degree, and there was a pandemic going on at that time, and then just like me being back home away from school, where I was practicing like round the clock and performing, and like always trying to like improve my skills. I Every time that I picked up my saxophone for, I want to say like a solid year and a half after graduating, it felt like nothing but work. So then there came a point, I think it was between maybe the end of 2021 and maybe the end of 2022. So like about a year's stretch, something like that, where unless I had like some reason to be playing, I didn't play my saxophone or any instrument at home at all. And I hated that. I hated that. That's when I got the idea to start doing community bands, because that was something that I wanted to do. Performance was something that I wanted to do, but anytime that I thought of it and doing it solo, it felt like work. And I don't want my interests to feel like an obligation, is a thing that I have no other option around. So with this show as like the new example of that, again, I still really enjoy recording and posting and like doing everything with it. But when it comes to the fact that like a recording day will come around and I'm just like, man, I got to do this. I got to come up with an idea. I got to figure out what I'm going to talk about, even though I can go on and on about so many things. If it feels like an obligation that day, then odds are I'm not going to want to do it, but I'll do it just because I needed to, is the thing. And I don't want to need to, I want to just want it. And I feel like that kind of like sentiment is probably reciprocated by anyone who's listening to this. I don't want for it to be an obligation, nor do I want people to really listen to something that feels like an obligation to me. Like that is counterintuitive to the reason that I do basically anything that I do, is the thing. So yeah, I would say like that's probably like the biggest, most important reason why I'm stepping back for right now. But that said, just to like as I'm passing the 20-minute mark now, so I'm watching the time go by. Um, yeah, I have really had a lot of fun with this, even in like all the stuff that I was just saying, where it's like it's felt like an obligation to an extent. But other times it does feel nice, and again, like a lot of it has had to come from my friends. Like it stems from my friends who I know have been like eagerly waiting for me to post something on a Monday so that they can listen, whether it's like on a drive to work or while they're at work for some of them, and just like have it feel like a conversation with me while I'm around. Because a lot of these particular friends don't get to see me a whole lot, and it goes both ways, of course. So if there's any way that I can provide like something that feels like the essence of my presence, then I'm happy to do that. But just know that even though I'm pausing this and I'm not going to have any more episodes going up for some stretch of time, that doesn't mean that I'm not still around. Like if you know me and you know me well, you know that I'm always around. All you have to do is just reach out. And like I'll do the same thing, of course, but doesn't have to just come in the form of me recording this show because again, hopefully once my show comes back, maybe by that point, those of you who have been listening all the time and want me to keep uploading, maybe you'll be some of the same people who are going to be on the show with me, as long as that's something that I'm able to work out. And I need more space to be able to work that detail out. I need more time. I need more money. All those things I'm trying to build right now. Again, like the space comes from being in a different space, different location than I am right now. The time, I can figure out how to properly utilize my time by doing exactly what I'm doing here and pausing the show to make better use of my time in other avenues. And the money, again, like I'm just going to keep working and focusing on working and doing other things that I can do to like maybe get some extra cash so that I can have a better budget for this sort of thing. Again, like the only thing that I've purchased like just to use for the show by itself is the microphone. And at that, I want one that's better with a better boom arm, and I want to be able to connect the boom arm to something that's not going to look so stupid. That God, it has been an eyesore in my bedroom having this thing connected for the last few months and not being able to close this drawer on my desk. But that's how I do it. And anytime that I'm playing on Discord with some of my friends, like that's also the same setup that I have one way or another. But yeah, so with all that being the case, again, like I've realized, especially like one of the biggest things that I've gotten as like a takeaway from doing this is that I really do like making use of my voice for like some sort of like narration, broadcasting, like podcasting. Obviously, that's what I've been doing, but I like talking. I just like talking, and I've come to realize from the people who have said it to me, whether it's friends, family, coworkers, I come to understand that people just like hearing me talk as well. If it's something about how I like how my voice sounds, or like just my particular like diction, like how I say certain things, or um my cadence, her, or if it has to do with like dumb, stupid jokes like that that I'll toss out every now and then. People do like hearing me talk, and like that's something that I really do genuinely appreciate. I can't stress that enough, and I really do want to embrace it. But it's for that reason. I'm like, this is the first thing that I've ever done where the entire, like, the only focus is just me and my voice. Like, no game clips like I had, or like game footage when I was doing like the Let's Playing almost a decade ago. Um, Not me with like my instruments, which I do love doing that too, but like that's my musical voice. That is not my physical voice, is the thing. Or just like whatever else it is that I do. I like being able to talk People apparently like hearing me talk, so I want to be able to use that, and like this has been my entry to doing that sort of thing. And again, like it's been a lot of fun. It will be even more fun down the line when I eventually bring it back. Again, I don't see it being any time in 2026. Just to put that out there as well. Unless things happen to like really, really turn around in my life. Just quick, if you could hear like what sounds like maybe like a humming or a buzzing in the background, there's a helicopter flying over my house right now. So just throwing that out there. But anyway, yeah. So I don't see it being any time later this year that I bring it back, unless I happen to be living away from home by that point. I don't see it, but I have a plan. I am strategizing for how I can get that to be the case early next year at the very earliest, maybe middle of next year, something like that. But that's my plan. That's my aim. And once I am able to get to that particular goal, then you can almost guarantee that this show is going to come back, and it's going to be better than it has been, and like more fun for me probably, and like with probably more attention given to editing. Like I am very, very minimal and lazy with the stuff that I put into this. Literally just using a Canva template to make my YouTube thumbnail and all that type of stuff. But yeah, again, more is going to go into it when I bring this back. And I hope that it's enjoyed. I hope it has been enjoyed as it's been for these last 20 episodes. It has been fun. And again, it's not going to be the end, just a pause. So, with all that said, again, I'm going to call it on this temporary final episode of Kanan's Cadence. And again, as always, thank you all so much for listening. Can't stress that enough. Not going to be next week, but I will see you again, or you'll see me again, or hear me again with this show at some point down the line. Until then, hope everyone does well, and take care.